the ramp of his main base. So that was an interesting reaction. And it looks like Druid's Flow continues to scout through the middle of Nico's main base. However, Nico has elected to back off with his scout and is just taking this down like a watchtower.
Assimilator down for Nico.
Yep.
No assimilator yet for Druids. Or Flow, anyway.
Yep, that's true.
Because Druids is a team.
But Flow is doing a nice job of staying within Nico's main base. Nico, I'm not sure what he's going to do with that probe, if he is going to try to scout with it or not, but we notice Druid's Flow continues to press forward with a very standard build, putting up a second assimilator and a cybernetics core. And Druid's Flow is doing a nice job of keeping his probe alive as he gets to see Nico's entire build order. He does spot the warping in of this cybernetics core.
And Jim, if you can talk in your mic, I'll try to fix the sound correction on your or on Skype in a minute.
Yep, the mic's as good as it's going to get.
All right.
So, in any event, we see a second gateway being warped in by Druid's Flow, and well, no gateway yet, no second gateway for Nico yet.
First Zealot is out for Nico. Cybernetics core just finishing up for him as well. Robo facility, 2-gate Robo opener here from Flow, as a Stalker is being warped into the field from Nico.
And Nico is not elected to do any scouting in Druid's Flow's base. In fact, he's just taken over the 2 watchtowers and leaving it at that. So Nico's kind of playing blind. It's not something I'd really recommend.
Definitely.
And Nico does not have a robotics facility, so he also, not only is he playing blind, but I don't see any future possibilities of scouting unless he's just going to, run 5 Zealots up his ramp or something. And a little scouting battle going on here. Flow will lose that battle because he is almost dead. Barely keeping his scout alive. Robotics facility has yet to produce a unit, a 3rd gateway going down for Flow, and the first fighting unit out of the robotics facility for Flow will be an Immortal. 2nd gateway for Nico. So Nico's not exactly playing in doesn't exactly have an optimal build order. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes for Druid's Flow to take advantage of that weakness. McDuff, is there anything you'd like to add at this point?
Druid's Flow just continuing to pump out Zealots, and it looks like a Sentry on the way out now, and the Immortal is out. Warp Tech is just about finished. 3 gateways, 1 Robo, 1 base. We'll see what happens as Nico tries to charge across the field here.
Now, Nico does have 27 probes. Flow only has 20. So that difference will eventually accumulate unless Druid's Flow begins to build more probes or expand. Druid's Flow's army now consists of 1 Immortal, 2 Stalkers, 3 Zealots, and 2 Sentries. Now a 3rd gateway, which is now converting into a warp gate, and a Twilight Council for Nico. So Nico is actually starting to amass a pretty good army here.
Starting tech up, and we do see Nico throwing down the forward pylon. Is this going to be an expansion here from Flow? And look at this, Nico has just had 700 in the bank. Looks like Nico's going to go for his expansion as well. And look at this, we've got a confrontation here. As Flow tries to push out, Nico takes down a Stalker. See what happens as they move forward. We do see Blink Tech on the way out from Nico right now, as well as a Forge being built. So a little bit of tech going down from Nico. Flow not really teching up too much.
Well, I'd say the robotics facility represents tech.
Yeah, but there aren't any upgrades or anything, but whatever. Observer on the way out from Flow.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, Nico's still got 9 more probes than Flow, and he's running off of 1 base. So I don't know. I like Flo's army composition, but I don't like the economy that backs it up.
I hear you. Both these players still sitting on one base.
Now these stalkers are going to have a whole lot of trouble with these immortals. If they do, if Flo does choose to move forward with this army, if he uses the sentries properly and times it right, and he waits for a blink and then uses if he uses his sentry force fields after a blink goes down for Nico, I think that Flo could really decimate his army as we see an observer moving forward. And Druid's Flow is finally starting to crank out some probes. The unit count for Druid's Flow is 72. Unit count for Nico is 61. And keep in mind that of that 61, 31 of them are probes. So the economy for Nico is the army for Nico is substantially weaker.
Flo coming in, throwing that observer right over the ramp.
12 stalkers for Nico, 8 stalkers for Flo. I'll tell you what, Flo's army looks dangerous. And he's got 2 sentries though. Nico's got 2 sentries, and the sentries are going to have to force field this ramp.
And they do not. Late reaction goes down.
They did.
Guardian Shield also going down from Nico.
Nice play by Nico. He cut the army in half.
That is true.
It doesn't matter. Flo was going to try to go in anyway. And the Immortals didn't make it in.
That's right. And it looks like these Stalkers are going to have a whole bunch of trouble, even though they are Blink Stalkers. Blink Micros not being efficiently used here. As Druid's Flow loses his last Immortal and will have to leave the base.
And notice a robotics facility has been created by Nico. And Druid's Flow's next building, actually, he will elect to go with a gateway.
Nico's probe is sitting here blocking the Nexus from being laid down. So in reaction, he placed down that gateway. We do see armor upgrade level 1 going down right now for Nico, as well as level 1 attack upgrades being finished. Also, an observer finally coming out from Nico, so Nico will be able to watch what's going on from Druid's Flow.
And Nico's expansion Nexus was just warped in. And Nico removes the destructible rocks near the high yield expansion, but isn't expanding, and Druid's Flow gets a good bird's eye view of all that activity. Every stalker is being watched by Flow's observer.
That's right.
And look at there we go.
A little bit of blink going down. But there is an Immortal out on the field from Flo. Let's see if that's going to be able to do some massive damage here as stalkers from Nico keep going down. Blink is being used. And Nico is on the run.
More stalkers being warped in by Nico. Flo moves forward. Flo's in for a bit of a rude awakening as these extra stalkers have warped in. No forward pylon yet from Flo, even though he has Nico on the defensive. And he picks off the observer, though. Nico lost his observer there. Now, if we take a look, this expansion Nexus for Druid's Flow still is not producing any real economy for him. 32 probes for Nico, 26 probes for Flo. And neither forge is producing an upgrade for Nico at this point, but Nico is +1 in attack and +1 in armor. And Nico's done a nice job of getting his economy going in his expansion. So has Flo. Nico, however, is running off of 4 assimilators. Druid's Flow is running only off of 2 assimilators. Those are in his main base. And in fact, Druid's Flow is still running on too few a number of probes. Nico's up to 39 probes. Flo's at 30, and you can't have 30 probes working on 2 bases.
That's right. We also see that Nico is upgrading his level 2 attack upgrade, as well as Flo upgrading his level 1. So it looks like we're going to have some confrontation here as Flo pushes forward. Let's see how these players handle their micro.
And no one wants to go this small little area here and get choked up and, you know what I mean, and caught in a narrow passageway.
Definitely. We do see level 2 armor upgrade now on the way from Nico. Will Flo go in? Here we go.
Right here.
Guardian shield going down by Nico, as Nico, holds him off in the choke. Flo's immortal not doing any damage, as Flo's got to move back.
Oh, nice trapping of these zealots.
Definitely takes out all those zealots using the blink. Blink is just about ready to be used again, and there it is. That zealot's in trouble.
Oh, going after the immortal. He took a poke at the immortal. Another shot at it.
We see Blink is ready. Here we go. That immortal's going down. Nico is on the aggressive as, well, looks like Nico's going to back off.
Yep. It's right now Nico just warped in 4 more stalkers. So Nico now has a 4-stalker advantage over Flo.
We are seeing the rocks go down from Nico to his 3rd lower. Twilight Council now going down from Flo.
Yeah, and Flo's at 4 warp gates, by the way. Nico sits at 4 warp gates as well. Both players have 1 robotics facility and a Twilight Council.
To say something for Nico, he does have 4 more warp gates or gateways on the way down, which will be warp gates, I'm sure, as he will start to take the production advantage.
And Nico's at 92 unit count, Flo's at 87 unit count, so they're pretty even that way. Nico continues to maintain an 8 probe advantage in worker units.
Third expansion now going down from Nico. We also see that level 3 attack upgrades are on the way, as well as level 3 armor upgrades for Nico for his ground units. So Nico now sitting at level +2 on his armor, +2 on his attack. Druid's
Warp
Flow.
Prism.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's see what this is up to. Other than scouting, we're not sure. It's empty right now, moving across the middle of the screen. So I'm not sure what it's. We're moving across the middle of a map, rather. And we're seeing a Maynard transfer of some probes, which will be headed to this Nexus, which the Nexus will be operational in about the next 10 seconds. Now, this War Prism's got nothing in it. I guess it's a scout. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a distraction. Maybe he's going to plant it into the in one spot and use it for warp energy. Hard to say at this point. The problem is that there are 8 gateways here. Actually, 9 gateways. And so even if Flo manages to warp in some units, unless they're Dark Templars, they're not going to do much good.
That's right.
Here it is. There it is. And he's going to warp in some units. Flo is warping 5 units into Nico's main base.
As these 4 zealots come in and go to the mineral line to see that there are no minerals left in Nico's main. This attack will definitely be taken out. Nico using all of his forces to do so, leaving himself open and vulnerable for quite a few other attacks that did not go down. We're seeing Flo move forward a little bit.
Two immortals, 25 stalkers, and 3 sentries in this giant ball. Army versus army here. And as it looks like, he got caught way out of position. He's not sure where to go. Oh, he blocks off this area and blinks back down into this 3rd base area.
Looks like this expansion will go down. Or not.